everyone, good morning, good afternoon, how are you going? Today I'm going to be taking you with me as I paint a landscape piece. I wanted to bring you with me, show you my process, talk through it. So what I do first is I get my little piece of watercolor paper and I lay down a base of like a pinkish orange gouache. You could choose any color, but at the moment I'm going for this pinky orange. This is acrylic gouache, by the way, which means it looks like gouache, so it's got that chalky, beautiful, layery texture, which I love. But it acts like acrylic paint, so you can layer it without reactivating the paint underneath. I do a little sketch using a slightly darker color than what the background is, so when I start painting over it, you can't really tell that it's there, you know? So I usually try to start with darks first with this medium, with this acrylic gouache. I find acrylic gouache so hard to say. Acrylic gouache. It's a tongue twister. It's like a trampoline on my tongue. So yeah, I start with darks, and instead of using black right out of the bottle, I try to mix my dark darks with just the colors that I have, and just really vaguely just blocking in. I'm always looking at the reference picture as well at this point, like throughout it, not even just this point, throughout the whole time I'm always looking back at the reference picture. When I'm blocking in at this point, like the very beginning, it's really, I just feel like I'm lost in an ocean. I have no idea how I'm gonna get to the end. It's just like, let's just keep throwing down blobs until we get somewhere that kind of starts looking like what it's meant to be looking like. I don't really know what I'm doing, you know? Just going by intuition. Intuition is like the main thing at this point, I guess. I also try to work across the page rather than just in sections. Some people like to work in sections, but because acrylic gouache dries and you can't reactivate it, I like to go by color chunks. A lot of the time I will mix up a color and then I'll dot that around in all the places that it needs to be. And then I'll mix up another color and then that gets dotted around wherever it needs to be here and there. Because it dries, it's a bit of a pain in the bum to have to go back and remix the color here and there. But you'll see my palette ends up being a total mess, and I mix on top of things and around things, and I use old colors instead of like leaving a chunk of a color that I might need again later. I'm really smart and I end up like just using all of that color to mix in a new color. So that's my life, having to remix all the colors all the time, every time. Doing landscapes has been a really, really good challenge into looking, like getting my brain actually seeing colors and mixing colors. I really love colors. I really love mixing colors, making colors. So it's been a really fun challenge and game for me to like mix colors as close as I want them to be. If I want the piece to be a bit brighter or a bit lighter or a bit more on the green scale where the photo might be a bit more blue vibes, I will just do that anyway. But it is fun trying to get the colors as close as the original as possible in some regards. I love that. And I guess that just comes with practice and trial and error. That's it. I know no one wants to hear that, but practice really makes it happen. I saw a good thing the other day that was like there was some little character that was saying practice makes perfect, and then the other character was like, practice doesn't make perfect, practice makes progress. And I thought that was a better saying, practice makes progress, rather than practice makes perfect, because nothing's perfect. And why would you want things to be perfect necessarily? Because then there's no room for growth and experimentation. I don't really do I haven't really done landscapes for a long time, not really since I worked in the animation field. It's been nice to try and discover my own voice, my own landscape voice, because in animation you don't really get to use your own style unless you're the creator of the show or whatever. But it's always someone else's style. You always have to follow a style guide. So all the landscapes, all the hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of landscapes that I've done for production over the years weren't in my style. So it's been really nice now to figure out how to paint in a way that I have fun and that I like. And I kind of feel like I'm starting from point zero and growing from there. Start with something that's fairly comfortable, which is totally fine. You can do stuff in your comfort zone and it doesn't matter. Like, comfort zone is there for a reason. It's there to help you dip your toes, dip those tootsies into something a little bit too hot, a little bit too spicy, and then you will become more comfortable with that, and then you're like, oh, I can try it one step further, one step further, one step further, one step further. The thing with organic landscapes like this, trees, bushes, plants, you can kind of make stuff up a lot better than you can with like man-made structures, because perspective is so much more intricate and so much more brain when you're doing man-made structures than it is with organic stuff. Also, it's easier to like remove a tree here or there if you're not feeling it, if you don't like its vibe. You can be like, oh, sorry tree, you're not coming to this picture today. But if you're drawing a crane, you can't be like, I don't like that foot, that crane foot. Let's call it crane foot. I don't like that support beam. Get rid of it. And then when you do get rid of it, you're like, there's no way that this is based in reality anymore. Does not look real. So also the acrylic gouache. I'm so good at saying those words. This is a new medium for me. I hadn't used it before this month, before even last month actually. I've used gouache a lot. I love gouache, like normal gouache. I love the way it looks. I love the vibrancy of it. And the challenge of using it is fun as well, because gouache can reactivate, which is great because if you squish too much paint out onto your palette, you can keep using it, you can keep reactivating it until it's all gone. So that's like a pro, but it's also a con in some ways. It makes it harder if you make a mistake when you're using gouache. It's harder to paint over it because when you paint over it, it will reactivate the color underneath it. So the good thing about acrylic gouache, I got it this time, is that it dries just like acrylic paint does. So acrylic paint is like plasticky based. I don't really know what it is. I have no idea. But yes, it's got like a plastickiness. So once you paint down and it dries, it doesn't reactivate like gouache does. So acrylic gouache has the look and texture and consistency and feel and vibes of gouache, which is beautiful, and I love it. It's got that vibrant, it's got that kind of like chalkiness a little bit. It's beautiful, but because it's acrylic gouache, it dries, so it's really easy to layer. It's really easy to if you make a boo-boo, it's really easy to cover it up and go straight over it. So the photo that I've chosen, I should have said this a bit earlier, but it's actually a photo that I took myself like 10 years ago, maybe less, slightly less than 10 years ago, on a trip that I took to Scotland. This is a photo from my mum's hometown. My mum was born in Wick in Scotland, which is right up the top, like one of the most northerly towns of Scotland. So here I am like visiting Wick, and there's this beautiful little field with horses, and the field was just covered in a bunch of dandelions all over the field. So the bright yellow like really was like, oh my goodness. And then with all the lush greens as well. I love playing with different colors of greens, like rainbow of greens. So there's blue greens, red greens, yellow greens, gray greens, you know, all the kinds of greens. I love putting them all down and seeing how they vibrate with each other. Even like letting some of the hot pink come through here and there, not like everywhere, but here and there and everywhere. Just, I really love the way the hot pink pops through as well. It's almost like a bit of a sun kiss, sunburst, or like it could just be disguised as a flower, or just, it's just an extra bit of interesting thing to look at, you know? Look how creamy it goes on. It's so nice. I love I loved in this picture the way the barbed wire fence came out. So I ended up, instead of like layering it, like painting all the green first and then painting the fence on top, I ended up painting the fence first and then cutting around the barbed wire bit and the posts with the green so that the pink would pop through a little bit. I don't know, fun. Fun, bit of an experiment there, but I really love the way it turned out. Just love the way the undercolor like glows through. Even if you paint over it entirely, there's like some moments of thinner paint where the underpainting kind of vibrates up through within it, like you turn on a light, like those salt lamps, those pink salt lamps, like has this like glow underneath it. Are there any artworks that you've seen in your life, especially like those formative years when you're figuring out who you are and what you want to be and how you want to do your life? Are there any artworks that you remember and that you always think about? When you look at your own reference photo or the landscape in front of you, try to like be Photoshop. Embody Photoshop and up the saturation or up the color balance or whatever, and in your head. So like if you're looking at a field, try to find the reds within a green and the blues within a green and the pops of yellow within a green, and like exaggerate them a little bit. That's what I like doing. That's a fun it's a fun thing to do when you're trying to learn colors a bit more and to see. It's all about seeing and practice in seeing what's in front of you and like pushing it that extra step. I guess I've gotten to the point in this painting where it's pretty much covered entirely with a back layer, like the base, and now I am building up different layers and different textures on top. Yeah, so I guess that's how I work, from back to front, from dark to light, sort of, loosely. I like to look at it like a film camera when you're looking through the eye hole of an analog camera. It's all out of focus, it's completely blurry, and then you need to focus it slowly until you find the focus. So that's kind of what I like to do when I'm painting in my landscapes. Start blurry, start vague, start basic and flat, and then build up the layers, build it up until it comes into focus, until all the crunchy textures are there in front. It helps to have a really nice reference photo as well. So, get out there and take some nice pictures, go for walks. I think I'm going to sign off now. I feel like I've done a lot of blethering, a lot of chatting. Time to say goodbye. I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you like the finished piece. It's posted on Instagram, so you can go have a look if you want to get some closer looks. I mean, you're getting some real good close looks here in the video, but Instagram, I post them all on Instagram. This is the first one that I filmed. I hope I kept you happy company, and love ya. Thanks for your support. Thanks for being here. A big special thank you, patrons, for making me be able to survive and also buy new art materials like this, which I absolutely love and will use until the tube is as dry as a goat. I'm so excited to make lots of paintings using the acrylic gouache. Yes, I love ya. And okay, I'm not gonna carry on any longer. Have a lovely rest of your week, rest of your day. I adore you. You're so special and lovely. Okay, bye bye.